Hello, everybody. Erin.
Hello. Hello, hello.
Hello.
So, welcome to Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast. I am one of your lovely hosts, Erin, and this is wrong direction. This way.
I'm Krista. Yay.
Mr. Krista. So, we've got some.
Did you really just call me Mr. Krista?
I said Krista.
Oh.
I thought
It's
she
a good
said
thing we're
Mr.
friends.
too.
Just saying. It's a good thing we're friends.
Mr. Krista. I'm making you a t-shirt, girl.
Yeah.
That's only when she's in a bad mood. We'll call her
Right?
Mr. Krista.
Mr.
Yeah, there you
Krista, she'll kick your ass. Anyways, we have some lovely guests this evening. Krista,
Yes.
you want to go ahead and introduce everybody?
Yes, we have Mr. Tim Maile. He is Pawtographs for Pooches, and he's going to tell us a little bit about that. And then we have our good friend Brandy with us. She is an admin on our Blondes and Booze page and a very valued member. So we thought we'd ask Brandy to come on and hang out with us tonight too. So,
Yay.
hey,
Yes.
Anthony, how are you? Okay, sorry, I'm reading comments.
I can't see any comments. It's like, okay,
You
I'll have to read them later.
Gotcha. So just so everybody knows, I'm sure by now everybody knows we're doing Fall into the Supernatural. It's a huge thing for us. And the proceeds are getting donated to the Focus program, which they help veterans with PTSD and they help their families. So Tim has graciously agreed to come to Missouri for your first time and speak for us. And he's got quite a little story, and it is a tearjerker because I can attest. I seen Tim speak at the Haunted R Theater with Rob and Terry back in what was it, Brandy? We went February.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to turn this over to Tim, and I'm going to let you, Tim, kind of tell your story, and then we'll get into the ghost and the hauntings and that good stuff.
And also talk about your pooches.
Yeah.
We gotta talk about that too. Yeah, I'm just like, I love dogs.
Talk about your own babies.
I love dogs.
I first of all, I have to say thank you because this is one of the first shows that has gotten my name right. Usually they say Tim Maile, but I've gotten to the point now where I just don't correct anybody. But anyway, so my story. It starts in 2006 when I bought the house that I'm in now. Yes, I've lived here for 16 years and not put up a curtain there.
Typical man.
Yeah, it's
He's
better.
Got blinds. He's got
the
blinds.
The reason I have this view is the other way. There's actually a bed sheet. That is how bachelor I am. Yeah. Anyway, 2006, I bought this house, and 31 years old. Never had dealt with anything ghostly or paranormal. It was strange growing up because I was in a family that was religious at the time. So we didn't talk about ghosts. It was when you died, you went to heaven or hell. That was it. There was no need to talk about anything else. I moved into this house at 31. I was going through a lot of personal issues, a lot of anxiety and depression. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting in my living room one night, and I start hearing footsteps walking back and forth upstairs. And then later that night, I had a full-on conversation coming from my walk-in closet. And at first, I thought it was my drunk neighbor. I thought he was outside yelling at somebody. But when I got up to investigate it and open the window, I still heard it. But then I opened up the walk-in closet, and all the voices stopped. So that just kept increasing. For those of you that have met me, I'm a pretty large person. The first thing I did was I called my mom and I said, hey, there's something going on here and I'm not sure what it is. And my mom, who I don't know what the language on this show is, but I'll just say
all good.
Yeah,
For it.
my mom is the biggest chicken shit in the world. And the first thing my mom said was, "Well, go see what it is."
Go see what it is.
Yeah, this is the lady that won't spend the night at this house because she's still afraid
Wow.
of what's in the home. But later on, found out that the majority of the things happening in the home are my dad. And a lot of people in my life have been telling me it's probably your dad because he's there watching over you, because things did get pretty dark. When I moved in, we had the things happening in the house, and I say we because eventually I wanted a dog, and I looked online and I found a dog that had been beaten and rescued from his home. They didn't want to let me come and visit him because apparently he didn't like men. I convinced them that it was okay, that I was not a normal man, and they eventually let me come and visit, and they let this dog out, and he went the wrong way. And if anybody ever got to meet Murray, that was him. He never did anything right the first time. But they pointed him in my direction, and he saw me. I was on my hands and knees, and he came to me, and he ran and jumped into my arms. This little boy that wasn't supposed to want anything to do with men instantly became my best friend. I didn't get to take him home for like 2 weeks. They were very, very slow with their process. And about 2 weeks later, I got to bring him home. And the first thing that I noticed was that he was following the things that I was hearing. He instantly followed something up the stairs and kind of watched as it had made the corner around the landing. And for the first time in about a month and a half, I felt sane because I really thought I was losing my marbles. Never having dealt with anything like this. And then all of a sudden, boom, the house is, it seemed to be on every day. So that was the first thing I noticed. And just having him there and sharing, life with him, it was just me and him at that time. Sometime in early 2007, and I don't remember the date. And that's a good thing because for me, dates are big. And if I remembered that date, I think it would just drive me crazy. Early 2007, I sat in my bathroom and I went through my friends and family one by one. And I came up with an excuse why it would be better for them if I wasn't here. And as I was about to do the unthinkable, I felt something on my arm, and I looked down, and it was Murray. He had put his chin on my arm and was looking up at me.
Oh.
And I looked into his beautiful brown eyes, and I just slumped to the floor. The first thing that went through my mind was, if I'm not here anymore, who's here for him?
Mm-hmm.
And from that moment on, we weren't dog and owner. We were father and son. And wow. I have never in my life loved anything more than him. It's probably why I ended up getting divorced, because I kept reminding my wife at the time that I'll never love her as much as the dog.
No.
But it's the truth, though. I mean, I spent the rest of his life trying to thank him. And how do you repay somebody that saved your life?
Right. Right.
I tried every day to make sure that he understood how special he was to me. And every day I would lean down and whisper in his ear, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
He was my dude. I mean, we were together all the time. I rarely went and did anything because I didn't want to be without him.
Right.
I started to get more opportunities within the paranormal field in about 2012. I had filmed an episode of Paranormal Witness, which is still on Peacock. If anybody wants, somebody sent me a message last night. They're like, "I'm watching you on Peacock," and I'm like,
"You're like, it's there?"
Yeah.
But
I was starting to get more attention within the field and getting offers to come and speak at events. And they give you a table, and you can sell what you want. And at the time, I didn't have anything, and that was okay with me. But I thought, there's got to be something I can do with this space, and came up with the idea of raising money for animal shelters and trying to create a legacy for Murray. A lot of people, I tell them this story, and they kind of look at me with this, confused look. And it was always about him. It still is. Mm-hmm. Nobody's buying a picture of me. They will buy a picture of me and him. And it was a real simple idea. It was $10, and whatever we raised, we would give to a shelter. And the first event I did, we raised $10. We sold one picture. And I'm still trying to get that picture back because I want to frame it. But yeah, one picture that day. And it slowly built. There were a couple of events that, excuse me, that got behind it pretty well. And we would raise like $200. And at the time, I thought, man, this is incredible. Eventually, Little Traverse Bay Parafest, my friend John Cassidy runs that event in Pawtographs, Michigan. They advertised it, and I think we went over $800 that weekend. And I thought, it doesn't get any better than this. And he convinced me to do paranormal or Pawtographs exclusive events where, we would just get a group of people together and sell tickets, and all of the ticket money and everything would go to the shelter. And the first thing I remember asking John was, do you think people will actually pay to come just you and here, pay to come me and you speak? And we oversold the room the first time.
Wow.
And ended up raising about $800 again. And that just lit a fire. And the paranormal field kind of wrapped their arms around it, and they loved the story.
Mm-hmm.
You'll hear me, if anybody tries to give me credit, you'll hear me say very quickly that I'm just the human that can tell Murray's story.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is amazing.
That is.
He's the reason for all of this. And before the pandemic hit, we had an event where we raised $13,223.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And that was our record. And then the world shut down the next week.
Mhm.
And then we were the first event to come back the following year. And we made everybody wear masks, and everybody was grumpy, but we still raised $11,500.
Fantastic.
And here we are, and I think we're somewhere around $94,000 now in the last 9 years.
Wow.
And it's
That's awesome.
it's amazing because it's like I get to tell Murray's story to an amazing amount of people and a group of people. I was at Michigan Paracon last 2 weekends ago.
Mhm.
And a lady had traveled from the UK to come to the event.
Wow.
And she came to my table and she said, I wanted to meet you. I follow Pawtographs from the UK.
Wow.
That is awesome.
And I instantly started crying.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like that, the reach that he has.
Your message got that far.
So, I say all the time now at events, it's like the legacy is set.
Yeah.
If you see our shirts, you see our sweatshirts, they all say hashtag Murray's Legacy, Pawtographs for Pooches. As long as I'm still breathing, nobody's going to forget who he was. And
That's awesome.
and the amazing things that he did. And we've had the opportunity to help so many animal shelters. The event that you guys were at in February, we got to help Lost Limbs Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I've wanted to help Mike for the longest time. I didn't know how to make it happen because it's kind of, people don't make us compete, but it's odd when we're at the same event, because we're both there for a good thing.
Right.
I absolutely love what Mike does.
Me too.
I love Mike Coach, the person. I'm a big fan of Robin Terry.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to finally be at an event and raise money for them was special for me. But, we've gotten to do an event in Canada, events mostly around the Midwest. We tried one in Florida, and we found out real quickly that Florida doesn't like dogs. So it was a very sparsely attended event, but it's humbling. I will say that. And when you guys asked me to come to the event in Missouri, I mean, that was a no-brainer. It's another chance for me to tell his story
That's awesome.
And meet a new group of people.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate it.
I love it. I love it. I have to say, Tim, I sympathize so much, and Krista knows where I'm going with this. So I had a little dog. His name was Bug, and he was my everything. Every time I would go in the bathroom by myself and cry, he was there, and he would try to make me happy. He'd lick my tears, and it was like everything was going to be okay. Bug died unexpectedly for a mistake, and it wasn't anything with me. It was just the vet mistakenly misdiagnosed him. Oh. And that was devastating because that dog went with me. That dog was my life. Like every moment that I couldn't get out of bed, Bug would get me out of bed. Every moment that I couldn't step outside, Bug would make me go outside. Every moment I cried by myself, Bug was there to kiss my little tears and run around and make me giggle. And when he died, I thought my world was over. And I remember for days just going, I can't do this. I feel like I've lost my child. I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
And I called the breeder, and the breeder just happened to have his brother from another litter. And I mean, coincidentally, yes, it was within just 3 days, but at that moment I was so panicked that I needed Bug, something that had him, that I got him back, and I got his brother. And still to this day, I have his brother. His brother's nothing like him, but he is my little life. And so I 100% understand. And that was my first dog that hit me, where they aren't just there to play with. They are there as they are your family. I would have done anything for him. And he was my rock. And it was devastating to lose him. And I have him cremated. He sits by my bed. But I got his brother, and I thought that was just something that was meant to be.
Yeah.
He served his purpose.
Tim has an interesting story on how he got his one dog, Ray.
I was just going to say, I'm glad
he really needs to tell the story because it is a great story.
First, I'll quickly touch on Murray and his passing. Murray, I was blessed to have him for 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the last 2 or 3 years of his life, he moved very, very slow. And to the point where I would carry him up the stairs to go to bed, and I would carry him down in the morning, and he would give me kisses. So I knew the inevitable was coming.
Mm-hmm.
When it happened, it was very quick.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up having a stroke and then going right into a seizure. And I basically held him and drove with him and got to say everything I wanted to and say goodbye. My dad passed when I was very young, and I would always tell Murray that when he left, that he needed to go find Grandpa.
Aw.
And we had a pact. I told him, I said, you need to go find Grandpa and let me know you're okay, and I won't come look for you. And that sounds exactly what I mean it to sound.
Mm-hmm.
I was ready. I didn't want him to be alone. And I told him, I said, you let me know you're okay, and Dad won't hurt himself.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And the day he passed, it was the roughest day of my life.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of friends came over, family, but eventually they went home, and I was just there with my thoughts. And I woke up at, I think, 4 a.m. for work because I'm stubborn, and I wasn't going to take off of work because, I might as well get paid to cry.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up and I saw 4 messages from four mediums that I absolutely adore. And all 4 messages started with the same sentence. Murray needs you to know he's okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's with Grandpa. And from that moment on, I was like, okay, full speed ahead. We're doing this. We're going to keep pushing forward with Pawtographs. I can't lie to my boy. I'm going to keep my word. And everything kind of took off. But yeah, with Ray, it was 2 weeks after Murray had passed. And the shelter that I work with in Wisconsin got a hold of me. And they said, we have pit lab puppies coming up from Alabama. And that's what Murray was. And they sent me pictures of them all. And they said, you can pick which one you want. My plan all along was to get a boy and name him Ray, because that's part of Murray's name. But before I picked out my new dog, I got a message from my friend April, and she said, Murray says it's a fantastic thing that you're going to get a puppy, but he can be the only boy. So I had to narrow it down to a girl, and I still named her Ray. It's R-A-E. But one of the puppies had the exact markings that Murray had when he was a puppy.
Wow.
And I said, that's my girl. And I went and I met her and brought her home on December 23rd. And she was 8 weeks old. And she is nothing like Murray. Murray and I had this connection where I didn't even have to speak. I could just look at him and do what I needed. And Ray, bless her soul, is just not a very smart dog. And, but I love her. I love her completely because in my mind, she's a part of Murray.
Right.
And there's a reason she's here. And, as foolish as it sounds, sometimes I look in her eyes when we're sitting on the couch and I can see him in there. And that makes me feel good. So Ray will be 3 years old already in October. Wow. And that means that Murray's been gone for almost 3 years. But we're still here and we're pushing forward and, get all these fantastic opportunities. I've got so many great friends and I say it all the time, but I'm a really fortunate guy. And that has not escaped me. I understand that this shouldn't be happening to me. And I shouldn't be getting all these opportunities, but the paranormal field kind of, like I said, they wrapped their arms around this and wouldn't let it fail. And here we are. And soon we're going to go over $100,000 raised, and
that'll be fantastic.
That'll be a night of drink and tears.
Yeah,
sure,
absolutely.
Yeah, what you do is absolutely it's amazing. There's so many unwanted pets out there, and that they need homes. And I mean, what you do is it's amazing to help them, because I see pleas all the time. I'm on a lot of different pet rescue groups on Facebook, and I see pleas all the time. They're needing, blankets or dog food or, just even toys. And, it's pretty amazing what you do. So thank you, Tim and Murray.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yes. Thank you guys. It's a blessing. We need more people out there to do things like this. And luckily we've got, people like you who put the word out there. People, we kind of all live in a box sometimes, and, we don't realize that there's a bigger need than we realize, so luckily people are being educated that, this happens. We need people, we need help, with the pets that don't have homes. They're waiting.
Right.
They're waiting. They're waiting for that home.
Yep, for sure. So besides, Erin kind of told you about her story, but I had an English Mastiff that I had from a pup, and his name was Diesel, and he was 13 years old when I lost him, and it's been about 3 years ago. And a psychic medium friend of mine and Erin's, he called me. Diesel had been gone a couple weeks. And he told me, he said, I want you to know Lady is in Detroit and they're waiting on Maggie. And he had no idea what that meant. Well, our Diesel was with Lady something about Detroit, and they're waiting on Maggie. So Diesel was my dog I had. Lady was another English Mastiff I had that I lost to a snake bite. And then Detroit was another English Mastiff that we had that it was them 3 dogs. And then we had a blue heeler. She was the oddball. And Maggie, which I just lost her 2 months ago. But it was just amazing. So I get what you get when you got the messages from your mediumship friends, because I mean, this guy had no idea who or what Diesel or Detroit is. He's like, did you get Diesel in Detroit? And I was like, no, that was the name, So it was really cool. It was really a pretty special moment. And honestly, I don't know about you, Tim, but I feel my dog Diesel around me a lot. Do you feel Murray around you?
I sure hope so. I mean, I talk to him enough. I think I'd be insane if I didn't feel him around me.
Yeah.
It's weird for me. Like I said, when I was younger, my dad passed, and I kind of swore off religion and things like that. But then I got into the paranormal field and really opened up with my spiritualism and started to believe in something again.
Right.
But when I need help, I don't typically pray to like God or whatever, head of your religion may be. I either talk to my dad or I talk to Murray.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's like if Murray can make it happen, he's gonna, because he's not gonna let Dad down.
Right.
In my mind, I'll just share a quick conversation I had with my friend April. She messaged me one day because Murray was there, and he had a message for me, and we were talking, and I was asking some questions, and it got to the end, and I told her, I said, "You tell the king that I miss him," and she said, "He says he's the king until you get here, and then you take over your throne."
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
I mean, that's, people that haven't seen me speak in person and haven't felt the emotion that comes out. It's just a story about a dog.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, he's my everything, and he still is. Which, 30 years from now, if I'm still alive, I'm still going to be talking about him. And
Right.
it sounds strange, and people get real weird when I say this, but like, I'm not afraid of death.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not looking to die.
Right.
It's weird because, like, there was a time in my life I wanted to take my life, and I've had health problems for the last 2 years, and I've been fighting my ass off to stay alive now. So, but if it happens, it happens. And I've told people before, like, if I pass, don't be sad. Like,
Mhm.
it is the greatest reunion in the history of man and dog.
Right.
Because that day is going to be the best day ever for me. And
Mhm.
that makes a lot of people weird, especially my mother. She doesn't like it when I talk like that.
Right.
But it's just like, it's honest.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel. It's like, if I pass, then you know what? I had a good life here. I accomplished a lot of
Yeah.
things. And please don't be sad for me, because I'm with the most important thing that's ever lived.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. And I get where you're at too, because I feel the same way. I don't want to die right now, but if the good Lord decides to take me, I'm going to a better place, and I'm with, my animals and my loved ones. So, I'm like you, throw a party and have a drink for me.
On the other hand, if I get there and there is no Murray, then there's going to be hell to pay for somebody.
I guarantee you there will be Murray there.
There's Murray. There's Murray.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll be running around swinging at everybody if that's the case. But
He'll be there.
in my mind, I get there to be my dad and Murray and the other animals. I lost Molly a year ago. She was actually a great success story from Pawtographs for Pooches. I did an event in Michigan, and the shelter brought her with them as an advocate for the shelter. And I shared chicken nachos with her that weekend, and she wouldn't leave me alone. And the owner of the shelter, Kim Scarrett, came up to me at the end, and she said, you can take her home.
Wow.
And, I put Molly in the car, and for 7 hours we prayed that she'd get along with Murray, and they were best friends. And they really were. And when she passed, I got messages saying Murray's got his girl.
Right.
And I never once felt sad, because it's like, she's where I want to be. So she's well taken care of, and I miss her. Man, do I miss her. She was a great dog.
Yeah.
But I got Ray, and now I have Daisy, and I have a cat that nobody talks about, and that's okay.
That's okay. Looks like there's a question. I'm assuming it's for you, Tim. It says, do you believe in reincarnation and multi-dimensional lives?
I do.
Anna asked that.
Mm-hmm.
I do, and I think it's more along, like, faith-based, like I was mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I don't have that belief, and I don't have that hope,
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I think I'd go crazy,
Right.
because then it would be final. I have Murray's ashes here, and the plan is, when I pass, that we're gonna,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna burn me up too, and we're gonna mix everybody together, and we'll be together forever. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's more along the basis of faith.
Yeah.
Where I need to believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much that I put a whole lot of thought into it. It's just something that my brain needs.
Right. Right. I totally get
No,
it.
I believe in that too.
Oh, looks like
I personally believe that, and kind of just what I've experienced with my guides and whatnot, is that I think that we can come back as animals as well. I think that that's why there's that connection sometimes with a particular animal. At one point they may have been a brother or a sister, things like that just hits your soul different. Because I think that personally, I think that souls can decide to come back as something, as an animal that you can learn a different lesson with that, and that's my thoughts, is I think that they can come back as animals or humans or, whatever you like,
Right.
I do have a question though. You had said that Murray could sense a spirit in your home and that it made you feel like you weren't crazy. Did Molly exhibit any of the same thing? Like she would see things that you didn't, or maybe Ray does, or does Daisy do it, or was it just Murray?
Ray will follow things in the home. And when that happens, Daisy freaks out. So I don't think Daisy's a big fan. Molly didn't really show any signs of noticing anything. She was all about just cuddling. She would lay down next to Murray, and that was her world. But there is a funny story with Murray and noticing activity. I got home from an investigation very early in my paranormal, I don't know what you call it, I guess career. But I got home from an investigation and I went to lay down to go to bed. And the light was still on because I was getting everything situated, and I was sitting on the bed. And Murray looked behind me with this shocked face and backed all the way off the bed. And the following morning, I was walking around and grabbing clothes because I'm a self-professed slob. So wherever I take clothes off, that's where they stay. So I had some clothes in the bathroom, and I was walking towards the bathroom to pick up my laundry. And I have a closing, a glass door for a shower in my bathroom upstairs. And I noticed that the door was open, and I'm walking to the door, and I've never left that door open. And as I'm walking to the door slammed shut. And I looked down at Murray and I was like, I got to stop bringing that shit home with me. he was looking up at me like, what the hell just happened? But those are the two most memorable moments where he saw something or heard something. But yeah, he was always noticing things. Molly, like I said, not really. And Ray will notice things once in a while, but like we're still working on getting ready to go outside to go to the bathroom. That's where we're at. So
Right.
She's lucky she's cute.
Yeah, I hear you. So your paranormal career, I know, with your house and stuff. How did you decide this is something that you wanted to help others, or how did that come about?
Well, it was strange because, like I said, I never dealt with anything paranormal up until that point. And 31 years old, had things happening in my home, and by dumb luck, I ran across the show Ghost Hunters. Because I had recorded ECW Wrestling, which was on the Sci-Fi Channel. And there was a commercial for Ghost Hunters, and it blew my mind that people did this. And I started watching the show, and eventually they mentioned TAP's family teams and teams in my area. So I Googled Wisconsin paranormal teams, and I came up with like 11 or 12. And if you do that now these days, you'll have
a ton.
Your whole day is gone. But so I did some research, and I contacted 4 teams, asked them if they'd be willing to come into the home and take a look, and I wasn't worth their time.
Oh,
none of them got back to me, which honestly was a blessing, because if they had come in the home and told me some story about what was happening, that may have been it. But it forced me to educate myself. So I buried myself in books, not because I wanted to start a team, but because I had a 30-year mortgage,
right?
And I couldn't just up and leave my home. So basically what it came down to was about a year after this, I was talking to a friend at work, and I said, there's got to be other people out there that are contacting these teams and they're not getting a response. So what if we formed a team and we just basically concentrated on helping families?
Mhm.
And that's what we've done. We started the team in January 2008. The team is Fox City's paranormal team, and we've done over 300 residential investigations
Wow.
in almost 15 years.
Wow,
So
That's awesome.
it's become a passion.
Mhm.
Obviously, it opened the doors for all of the Pawtographs things. But if I give up on residential investigations, then I think it's time for me to walk away.
Yeah.
Right.
That's where my love for the field is. I mean, we did an investigation Saturday night. It was the fourth time we were there, and it's a 3-hour drive one way. Because we've grown to care about this family,
Mhm.
and we're not getting the answers that we're looking for. And I think we finally got them Saturday night. We've been working with that family since March, so 6 months, and they're comfortable finally. So
Wow.
I mean, it's not about like evidence for me. It's
Mhm.
not about accolades. It's not about anybody patting me on the back. If we leave the home and the family is more comfortable than when we got there, then that's a win for me,
Yep.
Right.
and we'll take that every time. And it just so happened that one of our cases ended up on Paranormal Witness, and then the world just opened up.
Yeah.
Right.
And you get 3 minutes of TV, and the world thinks that you're legitimate.
Right.
And it was, but we turned that into helping many more families,
Mhm.
and then you get the chance to travel around, and
Mhm.
there's plenty of times I look in the mirror and go, God, I'm just a kid from small town Wisconsin. Like, how is this happening?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. But it's I'm glad it has. I mean, it's a fantastic life.
Mhm.
And I always say that the paranormal field has given me much more than I could ever give back to it.
Mhm.
So I feel like it's kind of my duty to be an advocate for the field, because there's enough people out there that want to run the field down, and
Yeah.
I'm not on that side. Like,
Right.
I want to talk about the good things that are happening, and
Right.
the people that want to constantly do drama, then they can do drama by themselves.
Yep.
I don't
Yep.
need that. So
Yep. I
one,
agree.
I don't even remember what you asked, but I just babble. So I'm sorry.
It happens. We ramble. We're
Yeah.
okay with that.
No, I think that's awesome, and I agree with you. I've done paranormal for many years as well. And for me, it is about helping people. I had a Baptist preacher one time. I belonged to, at the time I had belonged to a team out of St. Louis, and we did a deal on the news. And it was a Halloween special. And that evening, Ghost Adventures was at the Exorcist house, which is in St. Louis.
Mhm.
And my team was helping with that. I personally was not going, but my team was. So it kind of got promoted. And I was getting text messages from the Baptist preacher and his wife, I didn't know you were a devil worshiper. And
Oh,
I mean, it
geez.
was awful. I'm telling you, it was awful. And so I explained to him, I went and I talked to him face to face. And I said, you know what would you go, a mom, with 3 kids? Where does she have to turn to? Would you go and give her house a blessing? And he looked at me and he said, well, no. And I said, well, who else are they going to turn to? And that's the truth, so it's people like you and my team and Brandy and Aaron, all of us that we don't charge for what we do. It's all about helping people and it's like you said, the satisfaction of after, sometimes you go back 4 or 5 times to that same location, but ultimately, I think they feel eased every time you do go back,
Sometimes it's you're the first person that's actually shown that you care.
Yeah.
And
that you believe them.
Yeah, there are so many people that, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to rag on men, but I'm gonna. You can't imagine how many homes we've gone into where the wife or the girlfriend is experiencing the activity, and the man is sitting in the background going, "She's crazy."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you walk in and you're like, you got to be more supportive than that.
Yeah.
And then you show them what we have gotten, and there's a voice there that shouldn't be, and then all of a sudden their demeanor changes. But
Yeah.
We did a case here some time ago already where we were called in. They had bought a bed from one of those estate sales, like a Storage Wars type thing.
Oh no.
That's what I was getting ready
I know
to
where
say.
this.
Oh
I know.
no, please.
And
Well,
then they didn't sage it.
It's actually a really sad story until we get to the part where we're dealing with clergy. They started to see the spirit of a man in a bloody and muddied up shirt, and then a little girl. And it was clear that something horrible was attached to this bed. And they had called clergy before us. And the clergy had instructed them to burn the bed and bury it in their backyard, which only increased the activity. And so we're talking to the family that night, and she tells me what the clergy had told them to do. And I just got this look on my face, and she knew. And I said, well, imagine if an object was so important to you that you were attached to it after death, and then somebody comes along and destroys it.
Right.
And buries it in the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And she started crying, and I said, you didn't do anything wrong. You were just, you were following instructions from somebody you thought knew. And we actually had them dig the bed back up and move it to a landfill, so at least it wasn't on the property. And they stopped having all these horrible things happening. But it's things like that. I respect clergy. I really do. But at least in Wisconsin, we don't run into many that want to work with us.
Right.
And I've gotten the devil worshiper thing before too. People will find me from when I went to high school with them, way longer ago than I want to admit. And they'll see what I do, and it's either, oh my God, that's so cool, or oh my God, how did you end up like this? I know but it's not my job to change their mind.
Right.
You're fighting a losing battle anyway. So I just don't engage in that argument. And,
right.
I'm not here to change your mind. So, but I know that at the end of the day that we've done some good things. We're not perfect. There's plenty of investigations that I can look back at and go, oh my God, why did you do it that way, Tim?
Yeah.
And I think if you're not critical of yourself and you can't, critique yourself in anything really, I mean, you should be doing it. So it's just like I said, it's a passion, and we don't really search out cases. If somebody needs us, they'll find us through the website, or they'll find us through a referral, and then we'll take the case. But we don't actively run around looking for cases, because it's really awkward making a cold call and going, hey,
your house wanted.
But the only thing we ever promise every family is that we're going to do our best. That's all we can promise. And we don't charge either, because I can't guarantee results.
Right.
I mean,
we can't. We're not Ghostbusters. None of us are Ghostbusters. And I even, I can't, as a medium, I can't cross people over. How people cross people over is beyond me, but I can't make a spirit go.
You can't make them go. You can help
if they want. I mean, I can give them the idea.
Yeah, they have to want to go.
Right.
They have to want to go.
I actually heard Chip Coffey say this perfectly one time. He said, "I'm not Jesus." And that is true fact. I am not Jesus. I can't make you go to I can't make you go to the light. And I was just like, that's it. We can try, but we can't. And honestly, at the end of the day, there's no expert in this field. We're all going off of our experiences. And that's why things like this are awesome, because we can collaborate on because every situation is different.
Right.
Yeah.
And, we all have to learn from something.
You might not be Jesus, but I am looking forward to your gallery with Jessica. I am sitting in on that gallery.
You are welcome to. It is so much fun.
But you can't read me, because I basically have spilled my entire life to you. So there's nothing.
I know. I'll be
cheating. That's cheating.
Oh, he told me all this, but we're going to make it look. But no, I've known Jessica for a while. She's
I love
fantastic.
her.
She's amazing.
And really looking forward to it. And Jessica's actually doing a Pawtographs event for me next March in Wisconsin.
That
Hey,
does not
so are
surprise
we.
me.
Hey, we'll
oh,
be
that's
there
the Michigan
too.
one. That's the Michigan one. The Wisconsin one hasn't been announced yet.
Oh, well,
But
darn.
Okay.
yeah.
Quiet.
We're not saying anything about that yet.
Send me a link,
March
Tim.
18th open. Keep March
I think we
18th
just
open.
learned something new.
Yeah. Send me a link.
But it's weird. I think I got like 12 events next year already.
Wow.
Wow,
Already.
that's crazy.
Yeah. For
Yeah,
me,
Jessica is awesome. It does not surprise me that she's doing something for animals. She is a huge animal lover. And
Birds.
And
Loves
birds.
birds.
Yes,
Oh,
she
she
loves
loves her
birds too.
Yep.
She loves her puppies and she loves her bird. Honestly, that girl loves all animals. It don't matter what it is, but she loves all animals. And so she's an awesome gal.
This is the second one this year. She came last year for us, and she's coming back again this year. And Jessica's awesome. She rocks. She actually is the one that told me that I had my Bigfoot experience, and I didn't know that I had a Bigfoot experience. And it was Jessica. I mean, she like nailed it. Like, tell me what happened over in that area. And she's seen my big brown dog and seen me backing in the camper. I didn't put this out there. I didn't tell anybody. So she definitely got my attention, when she started telling me about that. So it was pretty cool.
So I'm going to sit in on the Bigfoot hunt too. I think it's Friday night.
Hey, hey, Tim, just to let you know, D.A. Roberts that's doing the Bigfoot hunt, he is actually on the chat right now. So
I see him. I have not met D.A. I have a lot of respect for what he does. Here's the thing with me. I've been asked to go on Bigfoot hunts before, and I've always turned it down because what happens if we find it?
You run. You run.
Well, this time we'll have DA to help us out.
Yeah.
So we'll have somebody that'll know. What do you do?
He's not going to be like, hey, you guys want hide and seek. I imagine it would be angry. So, I'm not, and not to mention, like, I don't know, up here we got bears. I don't know what you have down there, but
Anthony says you need him. And Anthony is with D.A. Roberts. He does his podcast with him. So, D.A. says I'll be prepared for that eventually.
I don't want it to seem like I'm making light of what DA does. That's not it at all. But I like, kudos to them.
It's just a new field. It's a new field to discover, honestly.
Yeah, and I can go into a house full of spirits and get hit and touched by things that I can't see. But the thought of getting chased by something that's like 8 feet tall,
right? And vice versa. I bet you all them guys who like are out there Bigfoot hunting, they're like, a ghost? Like Anthony, I know he had mentioned that, like, hell no. So it's like kind of fun how it's like the two like teams are like, okay, we're gonna
so incredible respect for them, not making light of it.
Right.
But for me, I'll be honest with you, I'm 6'4", 250 pounds. I'd be scared shitless if we saw one.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, somebody's going to be holding my hand. That's all I got.
I'll be playing possum. I'll be laying next to you, pretending I'm dead. I'll be like, okay, where's Tim? Okay.
All I have to do is just run faster than somebody else. That's it.
That's it, Brandy. That's it.
That sounds like what
I got a bum foot too, so that's not even fair.
No, I'll be running. I tell people all the time, if you see me running, girl, you bet, or man, whoever, you better be running too, because something's chasing me. I got a velociraptor or something after me, because this girl don't run. So if you see me running out there,
I don't run for nothing.
Field,
hey, I just want to announce here too that Robbie Raines is also in the chat, and he is also part of the DA crew. So hey, Robbie.
Hi,
Robbie.
Hi, Robbie.
Also, Mark's going to sit in for me for just a quick second. I need to step away for just a minute.
Okay.
So Mark is going to be sitting in for me. This time I will take him off of mute, unlike last time.
Yeah, okay. It works.
Where the poor boy like sat there and just.
He's just like,
He's like, oh, I'm sorry.
It's just this.
So,
I'm talking.
So Tim, can you? I know you've been to like a lot of different haunted locations without, like being a private case. What is the most haunted place that you've been to that you feel?
Hands down, it's Hinsdale House.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, I'm kind of biased because Dan Class is a very good friend, but yeah, we've been there 3 times now, and incredible activity each and every time. I was a little bit jealous this summer when I saw all the photos of Brandy at the Conjuring House.
I know, right?
Woo! It was so much fun.
But yeah, I mean, it's like the Hinsdale House, and then boy, I can't think of many other ones that through events and stuff I've gotten to investigate.
Yeah,
some well-known places, but yeah, Hinsdale House is number 1 for me.
Hey, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
But yeah, there's one.
Hey guys.
So, like St. Augustine's Lighthouse is at the top of my list.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Winchester House, I would love to be able to investigate there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to go to the Conjuring House, but I mean, those are on like 3 separate corners of the country, so that might take.
Right. You know, here's my thoughts with like the Conjuring House, and Brandy knows this because we've talked about it.
Yep.
But you know, I've done a lot of the bad shit, you know, with the demonic and that kind of thing. And the Conjuring House, you know, I know there's, you know, it's demonic. You know, there at least at some point there's been something, you know, demonic there. So my thing is, I don't mind helping a family with the demonic, but I don't want to go looking for it. So if I'm going to a place, a known place, you know, and doing EVPs and stuff like that, where I know there's a demon, to me, I'm opening up a window that I might not be able to close. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. I've said it long time ago. When it deals with the residential cases, there's a lot of teams out there going, I can't wait for my first demonic case.
No, I wouldn't wish that upon you.
I just shake my head. It's like, you can wait.
Yeah.
Because once you experience that, it never really leaves.
No. And you know what I've learned since then? Aaron and I have a friend who is over in Atchison, Kansas, the Sally House, Tony Pickman. Okay. And I started doing demonic cases with him. And had I known now what I did back then, I probably wouldn't have done it, because since learning, I've taken a lot of courses and stuff. And Jeremy Leonard told me that, you know, once you do a demonic case, they may not get you then, but it could be 20 years down the road, you're at your lowest. They're going to find you, you know, so once you tap into that realm, they know you. And I fully believe that. So, you know, I don't, like I said, I will go and I will help a family if it happens to be demonic. But as you know, Tim, demons are far and few between. You know, they're real, but most of them could just be nasty human spirits, you know.
I've dealt with plenty of, I always say, you know, if you're an asshole in real life, you're probably an asshole in the afterlife. I've dealt with plenty of those. I'm not looking forward to the first demonic case, but it's also something that I'm not going to run from, because that family needs somebody. So exactly. if I'm not willing to help them, then if they don't find help, I think that's on me.
Yeah.
But and Andrea Perrin's a very good friend of mine. And we've talked about, you know, the things that have happened in that home. And then the previous owner says nothing ever happened there.
Right.
So, I mean, could it be something where they experienced it and now it's calmed down and, you know,
well, you know,
not in any danger. So, you know, I don't know. I haven't been there. But it's one of those places that I kind of want to experience. But again, to your point, you know, willingly run into something like that, who knows?
Yeah. Well, Tim has never been to Ray County Museum, so this ought to be interesting.
Yeah, you're in for a treat.
Because it when the lights go off, the whole place changes for sure.
Yeah. Well, let me just say too, Mark is on here, and Mark is he's on the board of directors at the museum, and then he's also for Fall into the Supernatural. He's our tech guy, so Tim, you'll be working with Mark a little bit on whatever you need. So,
all right. I look forward to it. I was worried we were going to make Mark sit there and not talk to him the whole time.
I was just going to give thumbs up.
Yeah.
No, she said she unmuted you this time so you can talk.
Oh, that's nice of her.
Yeah, last time she did this, DA was on, and
I was like,
Just do this.
Right.
Then I found out I didn't say anything, but oh well.
Right. So, but anyway, back on the demonic stuff.
Right.
You know, so I've learned a lot over the years, and one thing I've learned is you got to have faith in something of a higher power or God, whatever your belief is, and then you also, when you're face to face with them, as I have been several times, you show no fear, or you become a target. You know.
I love that you said that, because Todd Arnold, who runs the team with me, doesn't really have a religion or /faith or / he's not spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
But I had this talk with him years ago where if push comes to shove, you better believe in something. I don't care if it's that rock. You got to believe in something that
Right.
you're going to be okay. And he understands that. I mean, Todd's one of the smartest guys I've ever met. So he gets it.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've had that talk, but, then for me, we've got 11 people on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason we have such a big team is I might get a call, tonight saying, hey, can you be here Saturday? And I would have to say, no, I'm sorry, I'm going to be in Illinois. But you get the point. I mean,
Right.
You try to get 2 or 3 or 4 people together to try to help that family. But my first concern is the people on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because for me, I take it to heart that it's my obligation to make sure that those folks go back to their families the same way they left.
Right.
Right.
So if anything were to happen to them, that would absolutely kill me. So a lot of times,
Yep.
a lot of times being the leader of the team, I seem to attract most of the attention, good or bad.
Right.
And I'm okay with that. I would rather that happen to me instead of somebody else that's maybe not comfortable with it, dealing with it. So, yeah, there we go. Another 5-minute answer to a simple question.
No, you're good. Have you ever been attacked at a location or private residence or?
I have been, I've been pushed and punched.
Mm-hmm.
That'll get your attention.
Oh yeah.
Wake you right up, I'm sure.
Yeah. It was actually at the museum here in Oshkosh.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. We were dealing with the spirit of a soldier that wanted his uniform on display.
Wow.
And I had promised that we would get the uniform on display. We were working with a medium who nailed the name.
Mm-hmm.
We had found there was a cabinet of old uniforms, and the medium led me to one, and all that was on it was a serial number. And I had the curator of the museum look up the number. And meanwhile, Scotty's telling me his name is Edgar, Edward, Ed something. And it was Lieutenant Edgar Dunham.
Wow.
And I had promised him we were going to get his uniform on display. And when we didn't, at the end of the rotation, I had to put the uniform back because I don't run the museum.
Right.
And I went down to the second level and absolutely got shoved between the shoulder blades.
Wow.
And it knocked me forward probably about 3 or 4 feet.
Wow.
Called the curator and she said, take that uniform, put it in my office, and we will put it on display.
Yeah.
And one of the proudest moments for me in the paranormal, because about 2 months later, she sent me a message and she said, Lieutenant Dunham's uniform is on display. We made a whole exhibit here towards him. And I got to go down there, and I stood in the room by myself and actually had tears in my eyes and just said, thank you for trusting us with your story.
Wow.
And the uniform was on display for like 3 years before they finally took it down. They had to rotate it out. And before they took it down, I went back to the museum and I said, now listen here, Edgar. Let's not go getting crazy with everybody in the museum. You had your time.
Just calm down.
Yeah. But it was an honor, to be a part of that. And,
absolutely.
And then a couple of years later, during the Halloween season, they actually did a display with all of our team's equipment and some of the audio that we had captured there. And if I could go back and talk to my history teacher and tell him that I was in a museum display and maybe give him a couple of birds, because he told me I was never going to amount to anything.
Right.
But
that's terrible.
That is terrible. Oh my God.
In the early 90s, you could get away with a lot more. I remember being in 5th grade and my teacher punched a kid. and nobody batted an eye.
That's
Like,
awful.
Yeah, the kid was a little asshole. So,
Oh, obviously.
Well,
but,
It's like, uh-huh.
Great teacher
Yeah,
was
they, like,
wrong half the time.
right
So.
upside the head. Yeah, but it was a different time. But yeah, just having a small part in being a part of a museum exhibit was pretty incredible.
Wow. I had an experience. It was in Potosi, Missouri. Our old team used to hold events, and we would donate the money for historical preservation. And it was during one event, and I guess it's probably been 7 years ago. There was a general store. It was a basis of 4 different buildings that we would ghost hunt, and we would rotate. So I was down with the group in the general store, and I was upstairs, and I literally felt hands around my neck choking me, and I had to get out of there. I couldn't breathe. And I got to say, that was probably even over the demonic. And this was just a nasty human spirit, it wasn't even demonic, but that was probably the scaredest I've ever been, because it was physical. I could literally feel the hands, and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't catch my breath. And another team member had to get me down the stairs and outside. And once I got out there, I started, coughing and, coming to, but it was an awful experience. So, ghosts are very, they can hurt you physically, so it's a scary thing. Like you getting pushed, and you just said, how big of a guy you are, and for something to push you,
But for me, and I don't mean to sound macho, but there's a reason for this. Like, I don't let the spirit or the family know that something is bothering me. I don't want them to know that they've
Right.
unnerved me. Because if I show any kind of fear, in my mind, I'm not helping that family.
Right.
100%.
Because this is the guy we brought in here to help us, and if he's afraid of it, then what the hell are we going to do?
Right.
That's my feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I play it cool, and
Yeah.
we go about our business, and we don't ever let the family know if something bad is happening. In the moment, it happens so quickly, you really don't have a chance to react anyway. It's just before you can react, it's over. And
that's true. Yeah, because when fortunately for me, my bad ordeal was, it was a public event, so it wasn't somebody's home. Nobody lives there. It was just a building that had been restored, and it used to be a general store, and so for me, there was attendees there, but they all say I couldn't breathe. I mean, there was no way around it.
Yeah, there's certain situations you can't get around it, but
yeah, and I have to say, to this day, and I just quit that team about a year ago, but to this day, when we would do events there, I told them all, don't put me down in the general store. I refused to go, and that was the only place that I can say I ever refused, because part of me was like, because I did show weakness, I did show fear. So if I go back in there, I'm a target again. They don't forget.
Right.
So I would never go back in there again. And I haven't been. So
yeah, we didn't go anywhere the last time. We stayed in the main house, and we didn't go down to that store. I won't go down there.
Yeah, Aaron's been to Potosi too.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, and I kind of walked through it just a little bit, and I was like, no, thanks. And I just, I take the advice of people highly. Yes,
Right.
I'm a medium and I can feel my own way through things, but I also know that spirits can project what they want at times, and I can be vulnerable, just like anybody else. I can be vulnerable, and I just tend to take that advice from people. So I haven't gone there, but yeah.
I made the big mistake of going upstairs, and I made the big mistake of going upstairs.
Yeah, that's where I was. That's where I was, Brandy, up there in that back bedroom when that happened to me. And
I will never go up there again.
No. We probably will never go there again anyway, huh?
No. No.
No.
We've been there enough.
Yeah, that's an inside joke, but
we've been there enough.
Yeah. Somebody, Crystal McGee wants to know, have you ever been to Waverly Hills in Kentucky, Tim?
I have not.
Mark has.
I have.
So does Mark and Brandy want to talk about what their experiences at Waverly?
You said it was awesome.
Go ahead, Mark.
It was unbelievable. I mean, my first shadow experience was right there at Waverly Hills.
Cool.
And me and I would say about a 10-year-old girl in the parking lot experienced the same thing. So
Wow.
yeah, it was pretty unreal. I mean, I wasn't afraid. I did everything that the guide asked us to do, but yeah, that was pretty unreal. That was probably my favorite place I've ever been.
Wow. Very cool.
Go ahead.
The last time I went, my hunting partner was Katie Stafford.
Uh-oh.
We love
Yeah.
Katie, though. We love her.
I love Katie. I don't know, but things seem to follow her, attach themselves to her. I don't know. She just walks and they're just going right with her. And
She's just such an open soul.
she does.
They all just kind of go, "Oh, hey, it's Katie."
Yes. Hi, Katie. And we did the Estes method there. I think it was on the 3rd floor near the nurses' station, I believe. And will
you, Brandy, explain what the Estes method is for the cryptid people that are in here?
Yes, the Estes method is listening to a spirit box. It's listening to radio waves, just running through the radio waves. And what the spirits will do is they will connect with the electricity and pull words and use the words coming through the box to tell you things. During this specific one, it got very emotional. I felt overwhelmed, just overall sadness. It was unbelievable. I was crying, tears. I didn't even know any of this was happening. I was saying things to Katie that were personal, that were coming through, that were personal for her, that I would have never have known. Something that would have, and she just kept saying over the video, why is she saying that? Why is she saying that? And it just kept coming out and coming out. And this went on for like 20, 25 minutes until, I'm a blubbering mess. And they're like, okay, it's time to stop, but it was very emotional, very sad at times. But I will say, I was taking pictures just in the tour, in the very beginning, and I caught a shadow figure. Just within 45 minutes of just walking in the place.
Wow.
So it's I recommend it. I do recommend that one, but I recommend it in a small group.
Another level.
Yeah. I recommend it in a small group though.
Right.
Yeah. Anthony says, "Oh yes, please tell us, not me. The only radio I mess with is in my truck."
Well, they could talk to you through that. Just look the stations real fast. You never know.
Right. We have another question from Anna Brown. She wants to know, what's the scariest place we've all been? I know Tim said the Hinsdale house for himself. Brandy, what's your scariest place?
I don't think I've had a scary place yet. Now, it's not yet. I'm sure that one day I will have it. I just haven't got it yet. I mean, even the Conjuring house to me was not scary. It was fascinating, but I haven't found it yet. Okay. I'm sure I will someday.
Yeah. Aaron, Mark, what's your scariest places?
I kind of lean with Brandy on things like I've had situations that are extremely scary for me. Just as a medium, I've had moments. But have I investigated those places 100 times over? Yes. And I haven't had the situation happen. Honestly, I want to say one of the moments was when I was at the Hall of Waters and I had a shadow figure charge me. I kind of, being me, I do like kind of.
Was it in the basement of the Hall of Waters?
At the Hall of Waters.
Yeah.
With me being me, I'm a medium, but I'm also an investigator. So I have to play both roles at all times. So me being an investigator, I'm staring across the room at this corner and I'm looking and I'm going, what the hell is that? That looks like a person in the corner. And all of a sudden, within just seconds, it just rushed from there to like right here to my face.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I threw my team member into it.
That's all right. Throw them in there.
I am a human and that stuff scares me sometimes. And I threw my team member Shauna into it and yelled a lot of cuss words. And then they asked me, what happened? And I said, a shadow figure just charged me. And Shauna was like, and you threw me into it? And I was like, ooh, shoot. Yes, I did. I'm so sorry. So for a long time, nobody would stand next to me when we investigated because I.
Well, Tim, have you ever done that? Tim, have you ever thrown somebody, I don't know, just out there?
Yeah, I threw her out there. That's for sure.
Yeah, did you throw anybody out there?
I just threw her out there. I haven't.
But I was wondering if Tim ever did that. I'm usually the one that gets thrown.
Tim,
I'm just saying, it's usually me.
You get thrown, Brandy?
I do.
You're tiny. You're small.
They're like, hey, what's that? Make Brandy go look. Brandy, what's that? Go look at that.
Well, I know, we all know, saying this publicly here, Erin will be at the Ray County Museum, and we all know we do not want to ghost hunt with Erin.
No.
Yeah, don't. I'm so sorry if you end up on my team.
No. Fine. She's fine.
We'll make her the door greeter.
Right.
She'll be the door greeter.
Putting your armbands on you this evening.
There you go.
Right. So why don't we touch base on the Ray County Museum, just because we are doing that big ghost hunt there. And,
Tim, I'm sure you're excited to go to that.
It's his first time to Missouri.
Yeah, it's my first time in Missouri. I didn't realize what a drive it was, but when I get there, we'll just have to have caffeine.
We'll have plenty of that for you.
But yeah, it's gonna be a good time. I'm looking forward to investigating a new place and meeting, everybody that comes to the event. And like I said earlier in the show, just getting a chance to tell Murray's story to a whole new group of people.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
In February, when I got the chance to tell the story to a new group of people at Robin's place, this happened. So it's amazing, who you can reach, and the friendships that grow from that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Do you remember me coming up and saying hi and talking to you at Robin's?
I remember everybody that comes and talks to me. I might not always remember names.
Yeah.
But I do remember faces.
Yeah.
So if I have somebody come up to me at an event and they tell me a story or they say hello and they want a picture or whatever, I try very hard to remember the person the next time I see them, because I know how it feels when you walk up to somebody that you think knows you and they look at you like, who the hell are you?
Right. Yeah, I hear you. The museum, though, I will tell you, I know Erin's seen a full-bodied apparition because she was scared to go in the bathroom.
Yep. I have to just say, just because I'm a medium does not mean that I don't get scared over stuff. I have to always tell people this, things like that still scare me. And it's probably because childhood issues, seeing stuff in bed and whatnot. But, that stuff still scares me. But yeah, that was where I saw my first, with my eyeballs, my first full body apparition. And I was going down to the bathroom. And I hadn't been investigating for very long, and I walked down there, and a man walked right across that hallway in an old army. I can still to this day see him. I see how tall he is, everything. Walked across in an old army uniform. Now I remember I stopped because I thought, everybody's upstairs. Who is that? And I waited for somebody to come back across, and nobody did. And so I just sat in the entryway, and Krista came down and she said, I told her, I said, can you walk with me to the bathroom? And she said, yeah, why? And I said, because I just saw somebody walk across. And They didn't come back. And she said, well, why didn't you call me? I said, because I'm new and you didn't give me a walkie. I got a walkie after that.
Well, then, and I'm sitting here thinking about that, you went to the bathroom and then came out and then seen that. I'm like, well, you know what? I am not doing that. I'm not using the bathroom. I'm going to go outside. But tell us what's outside, please.
Yeah, Mark. Fill
Yeah,
everybody
tell us
in
what's
about the
outside.
grounds of the
Yeah, you
museum.
can go pee outside, but you might pee on us.
Okay, yeah. It is safe to go to the bathroom outside, as far as I know. Okay? I'm just gonna put that out there.
I got a feeling that's a lie.
No, that's not a lie.
What
I
is
have been-
what
Hey,
what
I have
else is
been
located
safe
there?
every time I've used the restroom outside. Okay, so there you go.
It's been fine.
Yes, it's fine. You can take my word for it. There's nothing harmful there.
You're making it sound like you pee out there all the time.
Where's the mute button? Where is the mute button?
But what is located outside? Let us all know what is located out
what
there.
is located outside? There are
Unmarked graves.
thank you.
Lots.
Thank
And a
you.
bear.
And a circus bear.
Yep.
Yes. And it's
As long as you weren't about to say snakes, I'm okay.
Well, we don't know.
Let me tell you, I would tell you the first thing about snakes is that is my number one fear.
Mark would be scared of the snakes,
Well,
not
besides
the,
fear
not the
or
unmarked
height.
graves.
Like, it's like right there. Like, okay.
I can see it.
There are a number of, I don't know how to say this, bodies buried outside the museum. Okay. Unmarked graves, a potter's field, if you will, that are still out there, that remain, that we don't know about. And I'll just leave it at that. And you can kind of go about your merry way if you want to and find those. And that was awkward silence right there. That was awkward silence.
I will be crossing my legs and doing the pee-pee dance. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do.
There you go.
That type of stuff doesn't really bother me though, because it's like in my mind, I want to know their story. Like I'm not there to disrespect them, but I would love to talk to them and know their story.
I would just.
There are many stories out there among the county, I should say, because it's not just among the museum or the whatever you want to call it. I mean, there's so many names, but the county itself has records that show that people have died across the region that were buried there.
So it's not just the people that only live there.
No.
It was people generally, if they didn't have a place to live
or
pass away at, this was kind of the place of everything.
And that's what makes learning their story fascinating to me.
It is. It really is.
Yeah. I just don't want to use the bathroom outside now. I'll hold it.
I'd rather use it outside than inside sometimes, just because I feel so vulnerable in that bathroom sometimes. But I guess
I'm going to tell you this, Brandy. Between you and me, I feel safer inside than outside.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
And I will tell you, like, if you use the bathroom on the main level, sometimes you do have to tell them to get out of the bathroom.
Yes.
You do.
Yes.
And that was where this gentleman walked from, was that bathroom into the one of the war rooms. And so, but
they will though. That's the thing. They're not nasty there or anything.
No, I mean, it was nothing
get out
bad.
of the bathroom when you ask them.
Kind of like what Tim said. I mean, being there, I know. I mean, I've investigated that place 100 times over. I learned something new every time. Communicating with them via myself or equipment, I learned something new about their stories there. It's very sad, I think for the most part, I get the feeling that a lot of those people just don't want to be forgotten. They were forgotten.
They're just trying to get your attention. Yeah,
they were forgotten in life and left to go, and they don't want to be forgotten in death. So they make a big stink about things.
Yeah.
and they make a big nuisance. And
Well, here's the thing too. The museum was actually started out as a poor farm. So lots of people live there. And then Mark can kind of probably help me tune in with this, but then it did. In what year, what did it? And was in the early 60s that it changed over to the nursing home?
The 50s, and then it turned
50s.
into a nursing home. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then what year did it actually close the doors of being a nursing home? And
It was, I don't know the exact year, but it was the 70s, because that was
right.
when it became the historical society, and the actual nursing home opened up
Right.
across town. So I really don't know the date on
Right.
that, but it was
Right.
a lot of emotion. I'll
Yes.
put it that
Yes.
happened there.
And the museum has over 50 rooms, and each room is different themed. There's everything from, a World War II room, there's a Mormon room, there's a grandma's kitchen. I mean, it's just everything is different themed. So there's also, you not only have the history of the building, but you have all these artifacts in
Right,
this building.
And
So
can I add something real quick, Krista?
yes.
Like, a lot of people don't know this, but like the Ray County Museum, that was a poor farm.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually I guess what you call a holding point for the St. Joe Asylum.
Like ward. Yep.
And they would hold, I don't know what you call them, prisoners or whatever, there until they went to the St. Joe Asylum.
Hence the guy in the jukebox room, correct?
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not trying to sell anything, but that's a good one. That's a good one.
Well, at least Tim will know what he's in for now.
Yeah.
A little bit of
Yeah.
everything.
You're kind of silent there.
Yeah. A little bit of
Hey,
everything.
I was just following the conversation.
Jump in. Just jump in.
So
We're a chatty group.
If anybody's at all out there listening and thinking about coming to the museum, it's a great place. It's full of
It is.
history. It's very much haunted. There's not a part in that building that something weird doesn't happen or hasn't happened.
Right.
And,
And I'm
and
not-
And I don't
will
want to
say-
sell anything here, Krista, but like, if you want to feel every kind of emotion,
Yeah.
this is the place you need to be.
It's true. It's very true. And I know I have been there. I can't even count how many times I've been there. Mark, you're there all the time. Aaron, you're there all the time. Brandy, I know you've been there several times.
Yes.
So it's just it's an amazing place. And I'll tell you what, it's worth the money. And the money for that night for the ghost hunt will be donated back to the Ray County Museum. So I mean it takes operating costs to keep that place open, and they got to pay the keep the lights on too. So it's for a good cause as well. So if anybody out there is even considering, coming to this, the museum is worth coming to. It's Tim, I think you'll have a good time at the museum. I really
And you'll get some, I think some information on some of the people that used to live there too. I've kind of grown a connection with a lot of the residents there just over all the time I've spent investigating and kind of getting to know the areas and stuff. And they definitely want to communicate and they want their stories heard. And I think that it being a poor farm, also mental health issues, things like that kind of come into the situation as well. They want to communicate, and I think that's what makes this place so active. So I'm excited for Tim to come and experience it, because it's not just a place to investigate, like I'm sure Tim knows with all the places he's investigated. It's a chance to learn something from these souls and the community, and also the location. And it's a really great experience.
for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't experience anything, you get to experience this beautiful face. No,
I
nothing.
just realized by looking at myself while you guys were talking that when I'm concentrating and listening, I look like I have resting Tim face.
Resting Tim face.
So I apologize. I just happened to glance over at my face and I was like, "Oh, smile, wow, Tim."
Oh, it's all
Act
good.
like you're interested. Come on.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah. Well, we've been on here for an hour and 24 minutes, so I think it's probably time to end this. But I want to thank everybody. Tim, I want you to plug your upcoming events
Yes.
real quick. I do know me and Aaron, we are Blondes and Booze will be at his event in March, which I'm super excited to meet John Zaffis. So you got to hook me up, Tim.
I don't think you're supposed to say any of that.
I need a signature. I need an autograph. I mean,
I'll make
he's
sure
like
you get
the
some
king.
time with Johnny.
Thank you.
No, he's a wonderful guy, and I've known him for years, and it's kind of surreal for me.
Mhm.
But this is his first Pawtographs event, and basically how it happened is I called him, and he actually answered the phone, and with his trademark, "Hey, buddy,"
Sorry, I'm not.
And,
I'm the only guy.
and I asked him if he'd be willing to be a part of the Pawtographs family, and he was eager to do it. So
That's awesome.
before we get to next March, though, we got to worry about Ripon, Wisconsin here in 11 days. It'll be here before you know it. And, that event is headlined by Dustin Perry, Chris Williams, and Shane Pittman.
I saw that. That's awesome. We'll definitely share that.
Yeah.
They're all three of them are fantastic friends at this point, and I'm very, very lucky to have that. And in the meantime, I get to go to Silicon next weekend or this weekend, whatever you want to call it, in Mattoon, Illinois. And then the 24th, I get to come down and hang out with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some things in October, and like there's a couple of things in March next year, a couple in April. I'm doing a suicide awareness event at Ashmore Estates. I don't know if they've announced it yet, but I just did.
And Ashmore is awesome. I've been there several times. It's a crazy haunted place too.
And then if you're not into ghosts, we do a golf tournament every year. Murray's got his own golf tournament. So
that's awesome.
The first year we did the golf tournament, I golfed with my three best friends. And we got to the last hole, and I actually sunk the putt, and I broke down crying.
Wow.
Because it honestly meant more to me than just a golf scramble.
Yeah.
Because it was like, look how far we've come. My boy has his own freaking golf tournament now. And that was just amazing for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the year is filling up. Next year, we got plenty of things to do this year, but go to Pawtographs.com. There's a few events on there. If it looks like a 4-year-old did that website, it's because I did the website. Go to Pawtographs.com, check it out. And, if anybody has questions about Pawtographs, I'm always willing to talk about my boy. So just send me a message, and I'd be more than happy to talk about it.
Tim DA says he's looking forward to meeting you. He'll be the guy in the Hawaiian print Bigfoot shirt with the Carl Cold Check Cat.
I'll be the guy with the paw print on his shirt. So, but I'm looking forward to meeting everybody there, including DA, and just having a good event and meeting a bunch of new people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
and by the end of the weekend, Mark and I will be peeing together. Who knows?
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
I do. I want to thank everybody for coming on here and supporting us, supporting Blondes and Booze and everything that we do. And on Thursday, you guys tune in at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. We have Jessica Jones. She is the cryptid huntress, and she does remote viewing. So she'll be on this Thursday, 7:30 with Aaron and I. And then on September 27th, we got a really cool guest coming. His name is Thomas I can't pronounce his last name. Ferrarios. I'll get it right before the show. But he works with what's called Marley Woods, which is kind of a skinwalker ranch of Missouri. And actually, like the Bigelow clan has worked with Marley Ranch or Marley Woods, the whole 9 yards. And Aaron and I have asked D.A. Roberts to co-host that one with us. So that'll be cool. So that'll be fun. And we'll have probably one or two in between there, just me and Aaron just goofing off and, coming up with something. So if you have any requests of what you want to hear podcast on, just let us know.
Yeah. And again, thank you, Tim, for being here. And Brandy, Thank you. You are always like, Brandy, girl.
Wrong way.
Really?
I'm trying to put a point the wrong way.
Brandy,
I know
you
where
are
Brandy's
awesome.
at right there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love hearing about your story and how you got started with all of this. We will definitely be sharing everything with that. And I really want to see this go big for you. And
I appreciate it. I don't know what
I
happens
mean, like,
once we hit
that's
100,000.
awesome.
When we hit 100,000, I don't know what the next goal is.
Right?
Yeah,
Right?
so
No, it'll be,
500,000. That'll be your next goal.
Yeah.
$500,000.
yeah, it'll be like
500,000. Yeah, there you go. Just
Yeah.
throw it out there.
I don't know if I live that long, to be honest. So,
No,
It will.
it'll keep going.
Yep, for sure. For sure.
thanks for having me on the show, giving me
Yes,
a chance to
thank
talk
you.
about my boy, and I look forward to hanging out with all of you here in 18 days. It's not that long.
Oh
No,
my
No.
gosh.
it's not. It's
Don't
gonna
put
be a
it
good
in
time.
days.
Yeah,
Really soon.
Yeah.
17, because I think I'm coming in on the 23rd. So yeah, this
Yeah.
17 days.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. I can't wait. Thank you everybody for tuning in. And
Thank you.
we'll see you guys all Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Thanks.
Sounds good.
Goodbye.